I will say it's just sheer providence. I didn't have the luxury of career counselor to guide me. Back in the days, everybody was either interested to be an engineer, a lawyer, an architect, or a pharmacist. There was not much about human resources. But what happened was I read a few books and it sparked, the interest. I didn't really know what I was trying to pursue. But like that's why I said it's sheer providence. I was blessed to have talked with a friend, and he said another friend had an opening at her firm. That was I interested? I said, sure, why not? That it's a consulting firm. At that point, at least, I had known that consulting had to do with. So I probed further. They said it was a human resource consulting firm. I said, voila, there you go. So that was how I started. Now, everything I learned about HR, I learned in that particular firm. And now, another stroke of providence. The organization I was working for at that time, we designed the architecture and the process for a HR tech company in Nigeria that became the largest, indigenous technology, software technology firm. And being part of that process, that or the team that looked into the process that they used to design the technology, it really sparked that interest. And another funny thing happened a few years down the line. I got hired by the same company, the same technology company. And I worked for them as the human resource manager, and while working, of course, hiring tech talent, dealing with all the issues around the industry and all that. So it really, really got me deep into the tech industry. And one thing happened when I was being interviewed. My CEO at that time, um, when he was interviewing, he asked me if I wanted to take on a role in sales, and marketing, because he was told that somebody who has a strong background in HR would be able to sell HR technology. But at that point in time, I wasn't ready to make a switch in my career. So I had to pass on that offer. And I eventually joined the organization as the HR manager. I didn't know that several years down the line, I probably will be ready to either lead an organization in HR technology, sales, and all that. So it's been a roller coaster ride because having worked in different industries in the same profession of human resources, um, it's different in every single organization, and it's also different in every other industry. No two industries are, yes, the principles that remain the same, but the approach is always different. And again, because of the evolution over time that both the profession is undergoing a lot of change, and also we are part of a wider process of change. So it hasn't been easy. Yes. Okay. The regions. Let me start with the region. North America, I would say, is about the leading region right now. They've, because for obvious reasons, most of the large tech companies, HR tech companies, even started from there or have their headquarters in North America. You have Europe as well, tailing North America. Okay, right after that, you have Asia Pacific. Of course, you have China, India, all of them, who, by the way, are seriously taking over, the lead very, very fast. They are taking the lead very fast. Before you start talking about Africa and Middle East, who come behind. Now, in terms of industries, industries like IT, telecom, naturally are part of the leaders in the industry. Banking and financial services industry, they are also, one of the leaders, and also the manufacturing concerns. In manufacturing, they really take this thing seriously because of a lot of intricacies, involved in managing human resource. So these are the leading, and also in terms of the difference, why you have the gap. Really, I think that you have more tech talent, in some of these regions that are leading. Africa still needs a whole lot of, we still need to grow so many, tech talent in terms of developers as well as users. So naturally, there's a very big gap in the talent requirement for this particular thing. And also, internet penetration. We're still trying to get there because a lot of this thing is driven, by internet connectivity and all that. So internet penetration it's not what it used to be, but I would also say there's still a lot of gap, and we can still do more in that area. And that brings me to another very important factor, which I think is the cost of technology. The cost, it was high before. It's still high, although not as high as it used to be. Because I remember back then where mostly, if you wanted to pay for a software license, you have to pay an arm and a leg. But these days, the pricing models have changed a bit such that you can have to pay per user, and then you don't have to belabor your budget, so that you can afford technology and all that. So that's really, um, the factor. Okay, HR trends. For one, workforce diversity. There's a lot of, you know, um, advancement in terms of workforce diversity. You have people from diverse backgrounds, cultures, and nationalities who have to interact either virtually or they come together in a brick and mortar space. So HR has a lot to deal with in terms of managing diversity right now. So, and of course technology has the way it's also helping that. Now because of that, it's, you see, we also are looking at things like tech driven talent acquisition and all that. So which is a new major trend that is also gaining a lot of traction. And you find that artificial intelligence is also helping to drive that a lot, that you have to resource your organization, using technology and then hiring people in very remote places from where you are, and then having to manage virtual teams and all that. So these are some of the things, and there's a lot of cross-cultural, adaptations that have to be made and all of that. And also in terms of learning and development, a lot has changed in that space. Learning is greatly democratized right now. So it's not readily about determining the needs, but individuals on their own can determine what skills and what competencies they want to develop because of their interest and what they want to pursue. So in that area, these are some of the major trends that are shaping, the HR practice in the days, we live in and in the days ahead. Now, coming to COVID-19, of course, it's been overemphasized. The way it changed the way we live, work, and do business. It redefined everything about the entire employee experience. And for one, it has reduced a lot of face-to-face interaction, and it became a major factor in driving digital transformation. So a lot of organizations that before now were not even considering digital transformation, everybody has jumped in on that bandwagon. And I dare say that HR is also leading, largely in that area, because you must make sure that you onboard people, you hire people from different places, you onboard them, you manage them, so there's so many different solutions for that. COVID-19 did a whole lot, and HR is right in the middle of it. I can tell you that it has redefined everything about employee experience. And technology is one thing, HR tech is one thing that is helping us to manage that a whole lot. And I'm glad I'm part of this particular move. I will say the best time to jump into technology is now, because a lot of organizations have become tech companies. You have technology companies doing logistics. You have technology companies doing transportation. You have technology companies doing learning and development. So it's not something anybody should ignore right now. No
That's
matter how little you have to jump in on it and start doing something about it today.